Okay, so going back, so just to recap, off of one stream, if somebody streams my song on Spotify, I get a public performance royalty, I get a mechanical royalty, and what was the other one? Is there 3 of them?
Yeah, you're going to get another one because the other one is just for allowing the platform the right to have access to your recording. So you're going to get another royalty. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Vana Room.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's Monique and I again. We are holding it down. Rob is taking care of lots of other stuff for us on the back end. He's a busy guy. But Monique and I are going to be discussing lots of different techniques and the different royalty streams that come with music because there's a lot of gray area with them and there's a lot of confusion that comes with a lot of it. So we are going to dissect those different things. It's going to be kind of a quick episode. So hang tight and get your notepads out. So first of all, it's Thursday. We don't normally record on Thursday, so it's Friday Eve, as I like to call it. So how's your week been, Monique?
My week's been good. Even though you guys are watching this on Monday, we do all this stuff in advance. So
Yeah.
yeah, my week has been pretty hectic, been pretty busy. I got a lot of irons in the fire, as they say. So, just trying to make my millions and live
Oh
on an
yeah.
island.
Oh yeah. We're gonna. I'm hoping in a year or two we can be doing this podcast from like the Bahamas or something.
Oh, we're
We're gonna do
gonna.
it.
Yes, from your lips to Rob's ears.
And hopefully his credit card hears it.
Yeah, all right. Or better yet, from Rob's backyard. He's got a great backyard,
He
so
does. He does. He does have a
maybe
nice
we can
backyard.
sit out back and do it. But anyway, yeah. So everything's good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I've been busy with all kinds of stuff with Jamvana on the back end, getting some stuff set up, some systems and whatnot. But yeah, I'm excited. I love doing these episodes. I look forward to chatting with you and learning and dissecting the different parts of the music business. So without further ado, let's kind of dig in. Monique, I know we before we jumped on, you discussed the difference between a fee and a royalty. So we're going to be using those terms kind of interchangeably throughout this episode. So do you want to clarify what a fee and a royalty is?
Yeah, and before I do that, I want to address those watching and make sure you understand where your money's coming from. So, being around artists and musicians, a lot of people talk about their royalty, and I often question, do they really know what they're talking about? They, for one thing, obviously, you can make money in other ways. Do not rely on streaming royalties. Do not rely on royalties from sales. Um, but it's important, just like you would be able to look at your paycheck from your job and know exactly how much you were supposed to get paid. That money came from the hours that you work. It's not quite that simple when you're putting music out because you've got copyrights involved, two
Mm,
different copyrights at that. So before we dive into the different royalty streams, as Lennon said, we're going to be using the term fee and royalty, but we're focusing on royalties mostly. But a fee is a flat rate, and a fee can reoccur. The same way you stick your ATM machine or ATM card in the machine, if you put the card in the machine, you take money out, you're charged 250, right? You take the card out. If you put that card back in, just because you were just there does not mean they're not going to charge you another fee. It's another transaction. So with fees can reoccur. It's just that it's the same amount each time, unless in the contract it stipulates the fee may rise for some reason or another.
mhm,
Royalty is a percentage.
mm,
And with a royalty, you have to be very mindful of where your royalty is coming from. And even though the royalty amount itself may not change, or excuse me, the royalty percentage may not change, how much that royalty calculates out to can, depending on what that royalty is coming from, right? So if you say I'm going to get a 10% royalty on sales and then nothing sells, well, 10% of zero is still zero. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but 10% of 100, 10% of 300, you do the math. It's not going to be the same. So you got to know where your royalty is coming from. Okay. So that's the difference between a royalty and a fee. A fee is a flat amount, a royalty is a percentage.
Mm,
And so, where Lennon and I are going to pick up and continue is talk to you guys about where royalties specifically come from in aspects of the music industry.
mm. I kind of wish Rob were here for this episode because he could speak on this and what, as a distributor, and when somebody streams your song, what royalties does Jamvana collect, and
Yeah.
what other royalties are any other distributor collecting? But we have a pretty solid understanding of that. So
Yeah, we can
when
always bring him in a little bit later. We can have this discussion again because I'm sure there's going to be questions.
yes,
And I have, we have no problem revisiting topics to help
yeah,
clarify things. So, guys, please remember to hit us up with questions. You can drop comments down. We will look at the comments, or, if you want to contact us on social media, do so. And then we'll be more than happy to address any of the questions that you have.
absolutely. So let's dig into the streaming royalties. What is a streaming royalty?
Well, the thing about a streaming royalty, I think it's tricky to call it a streaming royalty because streaming royalties are made up of other things based
Hmm.
on how the music is being used. So we need to digress for a minute and go back to the conversation we had about copyrights. The first thing you have to remember is what rights you have in the works that you create. You have the right to reproduce, the right to perform, you have the right to display, derive, which means to take from or change, and then you have the right to distribute. And then you have two copyrights associated with music, one for the recording, which is called the sound recording copyright registration. And then you have one for your work of performing arts, which is your musical work, which is your lyrics and your composition. And this is important to understand because moving forward, every area where you get your royalty from is based on, is it the recording? Is it the lyrics and the composition? Or is it both? Right? So, and that depends on who owns it. So that's why
Hmm.
we distinguish between the two, right? And they're two different things, to be perfectly honest, because anybody can record a cover of another song, which is part of what we're talking about.
Hmm.
So I want to start with the easiest one, which is your performance royalty. Your performance royalty is a royalty that is collected through your PRO, which is ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, SOCAN, whoever you belong to, your PRO. It is their job to collect for any public performance of your song. And you will receive a royalty for any time your song, meaning the lyrics and the composition of what you wrote. If you are the songwriter, then it doesn't matter if I'm singing a cover of it at a bar, it's still your song.
Hmm.
So you want to make sure that you are affiliated with a PRO. If you're not, you're leaving money on the table. You're not collecting your performance royalty. It's that simple. And I'll tell you what, Lennon, I am so shocked at how many people are distributing their music and not affiliating with a PRO. Like, guys, come on.
Hmm.
Stop leaving money there. I don't care if it's a few pennies or whatever. As you grow your career, the money will grow,
Hmm.
but you need to do these things in order to collect your royalty. So performance royalty is one of the easiest and the first one that I think is necessary. And the performance royalty, again, is only collected for the song, which is the lyrics and the composition that are used. There's a different royalty that is collected for the recording, and for that, since we're talking about streaming, that's what SoundExchange is there for. So you have to also affiliate yourself with SoundExchange so you can collect your royalty for the digital transmission of that recording. So, for lack of a better example, the SoundExchange is basically the PRO, but for your recording.
Mm.
And then ASCAP and BMI are the PRO for the lyrics and the composition, for the musical work.
Okay. So you're talking about PRO and you say collecting if I'm streaming a song on Spotify, that's not a public performance, but I'm still
It
collecting a
is.
royalty.
No,
Can you explain that?
absolutely. If somebody goes to Spotify and starts, creating their list of songs that they want to see, or they click on a playlist that's already there, those songs are being publicly performed. Anybody can get on Spotify and listen to these songs. That's considered a public performance. So Spotify has to pay ASCAP and BMI for the right to perform these songs on their platform. So yes, even if somebody is listening to Spotify, Pandora, any street, the DSPs, so the digital service providers, they are allowing a public performance of these songs. They also have to pay ASCAP and BMI. Absolutely.
Even if I'm just pulling up a song right now in my bedroom and I'm playing a song, that's considered a public performance?
Well, you aren't the one playing it publicly.
Right.
Their platform is allowing anyone to play those songs. So, yes. Now,
Got
if
it.
you went out into the street
Yeah.
and set up turntables or speakers or whatever, and you just start DJing, yeah, now you are publicly performing music and you need to contact ASCAP or BMI for the right to do your little show out in the middle of the street. But if
Okay.
you had a DJ at your house for Lennon's birthday party, that's not considered a public performance. It's your private party. It's not open to the public. It's just Lennon and his friends.
Yep.
Then that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So then can you talk a little bit more about the SoundExchange royalty? And then what royalties, so if SoundExchange is collecting on the sound recording, what royalties is the distributor collecting on?
Okay. So Sound Exchange job is to collect for any public performance of the recording. So if you are a sound recording owner, um, if you're an independent artist, you're distributing music through your own label, then that is what Sound Exchange is collecting for. They are going to collect that money and then send it to whoever owns that sound recording. Now, your distributor is can work with Sound Exchange and get the money from Sound Exchange and then send that to you.
Mm,
That's what Jamvana can do. That's what DistroKid or whoever it is that you're using, they can get that for you. However, it's your responsibility to get on to Sound Exchange and make sure your ISRC code is registered in their database in order for them to collect that.
mm,
But yeah, your distributor is collecting. Your distributor is your middleman. Okay, they're collecting for any use of your recording. Your distribution company is not collecting your mechanicals unless you sign something, or they have an option for you or to act as your publisher or your administrator to collect your mechanicals, and the mechanicals is for the musical work. So right
mm,
now, the distribution companies are just collecting for your recording. It's your responsibility to collect your mechanicals. So
mm,
that's Jamvana's job right now. Whoever your distributor is their job is to make sure they're collecting for any digital stream of your recording. But they do not collect mechanic. They can. Some of them have options. I'm not a big fan of signing publishing agreements with the DSP. I'm not sorry, not the DSPs, the aggregators. Some are okay. I like Jamvana's more boutique, so it's not like signing up with DistroKid, TuneCore, United Masters, where everybody and anybody can join in there. Because
mm,
now you're a small fish in a big pond, and I'm not saying they can't get any deals for you, but it's not the same as just managing your own publishing and then working out a publishing deal with a different publisher if that opportunity presents itself. Giovanna is more boutique, so they're smaller, and they handpick, who's using the platform for the most part. So and Rob busts his butt behind the scenes to really create opportunities for the people on his platform. So with
mhm.
Jamvana, I could see it making more sense. And I'm not going to promote one over the other, even though Jamvana is my boss. I'm going to stay neutral on this one. But yeah, I would just be really careful about that. I would make sure you review any agreements very carefully. But um, it is not your aggregator's job to submit your musical works to the proper organizations, which we're going to talk about here in a second. Your mechanicals are your responsibility. And so you got to make sure that you're also affiliating with the MLC, Song Trust, to make sure you get your mechanicals.
Okay, so going back, so just to recap, off of one stream, if somebody streams my song on Spotify, I get a public performance royalty, I get a mechanical royalty, and what was the other one? Is there 3 of them?
Yeah, you're going to get another one because the other one is just for allowing the platform the right to have access to your recording. So you're going to get another royalty. Yeah.
Okay, and what is that royalty called?
It's just a sound recording royalty.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, so there's 3 royalties. The sound recording is one that your distributor will collect. SoundExchange collects the mechanical?
No, there is no mechanical for the recording. Sound
Sound
Exchange, yeah, Sound Exchange is collecting for the digital transmission of the recording.
Got it, and then
Okay.
your
And then you're
PRO is
getting another royalty from the platform because they've been granted permission to have access to your recording. So you get a percentage of like downloads and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's a sale. I should be careful about that. But that is another way that you collect money
yes,
through streams is your sale and downloads of actual songs.
got
And
it,
then you have your performance, you have your mechanical, and then you have your it's just a recording.
like a sound recording royalty.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. So that's cleared up. You were talking about some of the companies that you needed to get affiliated with.
So the main thing I wanted to really address was the mechanical. Um, and so it gets its name from like early 19th century. Basically, when they created those pianos with the piano rolls, so it goes bloop, bloop, bloop,
Like
little
a music
combs
box.
pick the, yeah, like a music box. So that's where it gets its name. Like my sound effects, bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so that's where it gets its name from is the mechanical process of music being played, and it just kind of stuck. And the reason for that is because songwriters were like, okay, well, this is a new recording of our song. You took our composition, now it's being played in another format, in another way. So the mechanical is about any new recording of a song. And when we say song, we mean lyrics and composition. When we say recording, we're talking about the sound recording, even though the song is inside that recording, which can get confusing. I get it. So the songwriter is entitled to collect for any re recording of their song. And
Mm,
that is what the mechanical is for. And when songs are streamed on digital platforms, basically a copy of that song is being made to our hard drives when we play stuff through Spotify and Amazon. And I'm not a technical guru. I don't know how all that works, but that's basically how it's viewed. And so because those platforms are allowing people to stream these songs, they have to pay a mechanical royalty to the songwriter. So the songwriter is going to get the mechanical, the songwriter is going to get the performance, and then whoever owns the sound recording is going to get the statutory royalty, which is what it's called from SoundExchange for the recording. That's going to go to whoever owns the sound recording. So that's how they're broken up. Just like I said at the beginning, you have this whoever wrote the song and whoever owns the sound recording. And
mhm.
so that is how the royalties are split. So, did I answer the question? I forgot.
Yeah. So yeah, you were talking about the mechanical royalty. So
Okay, yeah, mechanical.
the mechanical royalty is only collected on a cover of a song. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, it's not just a cover, but a cover counts as
Okay.
well. Yeah. So this can get tricky. So if I had a song that I wrote and I recorded and I put it out,
Mhm.
then you did a cover of it.
Mhm.
You owe me a what's called a mechanical statutory rate for that song. If the song is less than 5 minutes, it's 9.1 cents per stream, per sale, if people are downloading your version of the song. If the song exceeds 5 minutes, then it's 1.75 cents per minute, per song, per record sold, streamed, whatever. And just a heads up, that is going to change next year. That rate is going to change. Just letting everybody
Mm.
know. Now, for the DSPs, it's a little different. And this could get confusing. So I'm not going to dig too deep into this because this will give people a headache. But when it comes to the DSPs, they have to pay a percentage. And this is tricky. Their percentage is that they have to pay out comes from, oh God, I'm going to mess this up. It's like the total revenue that they made. I don't know if they're doing it quarterly or annually. I'm not sure. But their percentage will be, and that's changing too. Right now, I believe it's at maybe 12 or 13%. It's going up to 15
I just did an
starting next
article on
year.
it. It's
Okay.
11.4%, I believe.
Okay, so it's 11.4% right now. That's going up to 15. Like 15.1, I think it is going to be the new rate. And I think that starts next year. If I'm not, no. Yeah, is it 2023 or 2024?
I believe it's 20 I believe it's the 15.1% royalty rate is for the years 2018 to 2022. So I'm assuming it'll be retroactive,
I
for
don't,
these years.
I got to double check that. I
Yeah.
definitely want to double check that because I know it's going up to 15 because they recently, just July 1st of this year, had the DSPs tried to, appeal the decision to raise the rate. So it's going up. Um, I want to say 2023. We'll double check that for you guys. Sorry about that. But anyway, so the mechanical is collective anytime your musical work, your lyrics and your composition are going to be re-recorded by someone. So if somebody does a cover of your song, they owe you money for the lyrics and the composition that they use. They get to keep the royalty for the recording because the recording belongs to them. But you own the lyrics and the composition, and that's what you're collecting the mechanical for.
Mm.
Then you collect the mechanical also from the DSP that played the song,
Mm.
okay? Because they got to have, that's part of the deal. When you start up a digital service platform, is you got to be able to pay the people who own the songs.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Does that confuse you?
Yeah, so once that mechanical royalty is paid out, who how do I make sure I get that mechanical royalty?
Okay, if you are an independent artist, which is our predominant audience here, if you're an independent, you need to contact or go to themlc.com, go to their website and sign up. They have a section on there called Connect to Collect, and you enter all your information. You sign up. It's free, does not cost you any money.
Mhm.
Sign up with the MLC. You're going to need to have all of your song information available. You need to tell them what the title of the song is. You need to tell them who the songwriters are. This is only for self-published writers, folks. If you are signed up with a publishing company, not your own. If it's your own, you're good to go. But if it's another a third party, then this is not what you're supposed to do. Okay. But if it's your own, if you're self-published, you go to the MLC.com, create your account, enter all your song information so they know what to collect. And when I say enter your song information, y'all are going to need to have a couple things. You're going to need to have your ISWC number from your PRO. Okay. So for some people, they're like, dang, I got to backtrack and now I got to go join a PRO. So, yeah, join a PRO. You need to have your ISWC. I can't remember if they ask for the ISRC or not. They often will ask for they definitely ask for your IPI number, which is another number that you get from your PRO. So, you guys need to make sure that you are affiliated with ASCAP, BMI, whoever, so you can get that. And they and I also recommend that you have what's called an ISNI number. The reason for these numbers is to make sure that the royalty is getting to the right person or persons. So these are all numbers that make sure that it's you. IPI stands for interested party information. And this is a number that you get from your PRO as well. So, you guys, if you've not done this, then you've got some work to do. But um, make sure you are, every time you distribute a song, make sure you get that information over to the MLC. And then when you start streaming and people start recording covers of your song, then they can collect your mechanical for you.
Okay. And okay, so the MLC will collect the mechanical royalties for me.
Mhm.
And will they pay him out, or do I have to log in all the
No, they
time?
pay him out. You'll have
Okay,
to set up your bank information with them and everything. So you got to do a W-9.
okay.
And then, yeah, they'll just, and if you're splitting rights with somebody, then your split sheet, which I'm pretty sure Lennon and I have talked about before,
Mhm.
your split sheet is crucial because if there are other writers, and everybody needs to get their piece of the pie. So you got to make sure that the splits are provided as well.
Cool. Okay. I think that answers the questions. I mean, we could keep going, but we just overwhelm everybody.
Yeah, I think we need to give people time to process.
Yeah, because it is a lot.
Process it. Yeah, and let me say one more thing. The MLC only collects your mechanicals here in the United States. So, if they are playing sorry, if there's a platform playing your song in another country or somebody's covering your song in another country, then what you want to do is sign up with Songtrust. Songtrust will collect from international. So you want to have Songtrust, you want to have the MLC, you want to have your PRO, and then SoundExchange.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and Monique's breakdown of all the different royalties and streaming royalties and whatnot. So stay tuned. Follow us on social media, YouTube, subscribe, hit that like button, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all that stuff. If you have any questions or comments or concerns or anything we discussed in this episode, leave them in the comments below. If you're on a podcast platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, send us an email, info@jamvana.com, or come on over to the YouTube video and leave us a comment there as well. Um, so thanks again for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next week on the Vana Room.